What's up, Inkie peeps? It's Adele from Inkie Quill, and we are heading on with another process video in my little junk journal traveler's notebook that I made. If you missed the process for this, I do believe it was at the start of December, if I'm correct. It was, oh no, it would have been November. No, December. Either the end of November or the start of December. And I followed along with creating another little junk journal traveler's notebook like I did for Archie several years ago. I think in 2018 I made that and posted daily photos over on Instagram. And I really loved that project because I wrote Arch a letter every day for 100 days. And it just was really nice because it documented so many big moments in his life, like his first plane trips and when he learnt how to walk for the first time. And I wanted to do the same for Violet, roughly the same age. And look, I will admit, it's been a bit harder to complete this time because, of course, I have a toddler now and there's not a lot of spare time a lot of the time. So I am a bit behind at the moment, but that's okay. I might be skipping some days. So instead of doing 100 days in a row like I did with Archie's, I'm probably just going to make it 100 letters and have it span probably more likely over 150 days, just to make it a bit easier on myself to make sure I can catch up. So for this first one, I had all these photos of Violet and I from a day we were just hanging out at home, and I had too many to fit. I've been trying to make all of the pages either just one page per letter or a double spread per letter. And so instead of just picking my one favourite photo and not including the other ones, I just made a little pocket out of that spotty paper. And that spotty paper has been around for a while, peeps, and I've been hoarding it. And I finally told myself if there's any project that it suits, this is the one. So it's my weekly motivation to use the papers that you are hoarding and get them into your stuff instead of just having them collecting dust in your scrap stash. So of course I've super sped up my handwriting. I wish I wrote this fast. I think I've kind of lost my ability to write fast. Does anyone else feel the same way? With technology these days, we don't have to write a lot of the time. And because I'm not teaching anymore, I'm not used to writing on the board and writing comments on children's workbooks and things. And I have lost the skill to write. It's really bizarre. I remember back in uni and in high school, we used to have to write 4-page essays in tests and things, and I used to slam through them super fast, lightning speed. But now I can't. Now I struggle to even write a shopping list quickly. So next up, we're doing another day, and I'm using these stickers, which are some of my all-time favourites. They're years and years old, and one of my beautiful friends had a set in her stash because I had pretty much, harvested all of the vowels from my pack, and so I'm very excited to have a new pack of them and I can finally use them again. So they're older Amy 10 one, I think, and I just really like them because you get so many alphas in the one pack. I find that these days, a lot of the time, I can only get through a few titles before I'm out of vowels, and that really frustrates me. So I very much appreciate when there's lots included. So this photo we went to on a little road trip. So this was back in November, and we went to Bathurst, which is where a lot of Aaron's family, on both of his sides of the family, but we went up there to see his dad's side, and Violet met her great nan for the first time, so Aaron's nan, and it was an interesting road trip because one of our children loves road trips and the other one doesn't. And if you look at this photo, you might be able to tell which one loves it. So it was a bit of a long journey, but we got there. We got there in the end, and Violet loved it. It was her first, it was her first, oh no, not her first road trip. No. But it was, it was a big adventure for her, and she really enjoyed going up there and meeting her great nan, and also meeting Aaron's brother, her uncle, which she hasn't met before. And it was just nice to spend time with family because, of course, with the events of last year, we didn't see a lot of our family that live further away than 5 minutes and are in our little bubble. So it was a great opportunity so restrictions were eased. I think at this point in November, we hadn't had cases in my state at all of COVID for quite a while, like community transferred cases. The only cases that had been happening, I think, were holidays who were coming back and going straight into hotel quarantine anyway. So we were able to drive up there. It's about 4 or 5 hours away from where we are, which is also a lot longer with children. It's more like 7, 8 hours. Well, we got there. Oh, road trips are fun when you're not driving with toddlers. So this next page, I really love this floral paper. And on the left-hand side was just blank. So I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to add some mixed media or what I wanted to do. So I started with the thing that I did know I wanted to do. Whenever I have a page that I'm a bit stumped and I'm a bit like, what do I do? I always start with the thing that I do know, because sometimes it can lead into particular color choices that I want to use, or it can just give me ideas, or just a bit of thinking time to procrastinate before I have to make a decision on the thing that I don't know what I want to do with. So I've got these photos of Violet and Aaron's brothers, and I just love them. They're such sweet photos, so I wanted to include them. And I'm printing most of the photos for this album at 2 by 3 inches. This little traveller's notebook is passport size, I think, roughly. Let's be honest. You peeps know me, I don't quite measure things accurately, and so I've kind of gone off the rough size of Archie's traveller's notebook, and so that's what we're rolling with. It's roughly passport size. I do have to purchase a cover for it as well before the cover of the traveller's notebook gets a bit smooshed and things. So that's going to be my next little purchase, because I don't have any passport size ones. Archie's album is chunky. It's very, very chunky. So I might even consider getting a second cover for him as well. We'll see how we go. So I did those little purple lilac-y stripes, and I thought the purple worked because it was something different. And of course, violet is violet, and so I thought that it was just something different to include in the album, because I had already used quite a lot of pink and turquoise, which are my go-to colours, of course. I'm really determined to use this sticker book up because it's driving me crazy. I've got the second Maggie Holmes one, and I really am determined to not have this sticker book sticking around in my collection forever. And because I do think sticker books, they have their pros, but they have their cons. And one of the pros is definitely that you get so many options and so many inspiration pieces just in the one product. But a con for me is that they definitely stick around for longer than the average sticker sheet, because there's so many stickers in there. It's very difficult to use it quickly. So I'm trying to get through it. And we'll see how I can endeavour on that one this year. So next up, we've got, have I skipped a page there? I think I did. I don't know why I did. Why have I skipped the middle blank page? Maybe I was going to stick them together. We'll see what I'm thinking. Sometimes I puzzle myself when I go back and watch the replay and have to do the voiceovers. And I'm like, why did you do that, Del? Why is that the choice you made? Oh gosh, look at her hair here. Wow. So this was only 2 months ago, and her hair has grown so much since here. Gosh, that's amazing. So for this page, I'm sticking down my photos. Now, unlike Archie's album didn't have as many photos as this, and I don't think I'm going to continue doing as many photos. I feel like almost every letter has photos on it, and I'm probably not going to be able to keep that up. But I did have a lot of photos from this time period because we did quite a few things. So we went and, of course, met family members that we hadn't met, and there was something else we did. I think we went away at some point as well. And just when I say go away, we went 40 minutes away from our house. It wasn't far. But I did take a lot of photos during this time period. I think Violet had just finished being sick as well, so I hadn't taken photos of her for a few weeks properly, and she was all happy. So lots of pics. Now for this one, you see that I just keep flicking back, and I do that when I want to do some sort of mixed media, and I have no freaking clue what color I want to choose. So sometimes looking back can help eliminate the colors that I don't want to use because I've recently used them, and it can help cancel out a lot of the options that I have. So I've got my favorite. This is probably my favorite colored paint. I don't know what it is. There's just something about a nice dark midnighty blue that makes me happy, especially when writing on top of it with white gel pen. I absolutely love that look. I've just realized something, peeps. I've just realized why I left those 2 blank white pages, and that is because I have a whole lot of other photos printed from that weekend away of Violet and her great nan, which I definitely want to include photos of, and I didn't have them on my camera, which is how I printed all of these photos. These are all on my phone, and so the photos that I want to print are on my camera, and I have to do the whole SD card, computer transfer, save them, transfer them to my phone, and it was a whole shebang. And I didn't really feel like doing that right now because you guys know my aversion to photo printing. So that's why I left those pages blank. I knew it was for a reason, and I couldn't work it out. So this was a very rare family photo, and this was on our way back home. Poor little Arch was quite car sick. He was car sick, I think, 3 times on the way home. And so we stopped in at the Blue Mountains just for a coffee stop and to stretch our legs, give him something to eat, and then just we have to walk around or not be in a moving car for probably about an hour or so, or more, preferably an hour and a half after Archie eats, because otherwise it just revisits us again, and nobody likes that. So we had a little detour, and I did actually vlog this weekend, and I promise, I know I keep saying it, but I will get back to the vlogs, but this will be a fun one once I eventually get it up, which hopefully will be in the next few months, maybe. We'll see how we go. So this page, I absolutely love this paper on the right, but it definitely is a tricky one to work with just because of the large focal elements on it. And so I just used a cheap white tag. I think I may have got that from Kmart. If you're an Aussie peep looking for some nice cheap white tags, I'm pretty sure Kmart have some in their craft section, and which they have stepped up. Kmart have stepped up, and so has the Reject Shop. So if you're an Aussie peep looking for some supplies that you can get quite easily, because of course scrapbook shops, physical stores seem to be disappearing, and if you want to get your hands on some scrappy supplies without having to worry about shipping, check those stores out for some off-brand alternatives. You won't find American crafts or anything there, unfortunately, but they do have some really cute things. So this one was one of the rare pages that I simply wrote on and I didn't worry about adding photos, I don't think, but this was just an everyday kind of day, and I just wrote about it there, used a sticker that has been in my stash for a very long time, and then of course I've got tappy fingers. When I've got tappy fingers, you know that I am procrastinating and don't know what I'm doing. What am I cutting out? Let's see. This is a very rare moment of Archie and Violet both being still. I have to say, we thought Violet was going to be nice and calm and still and not as energetic as her brother, but I think she might be. So it's very, very rare to get a photo of the two of them just lying down, chillaxing, as Archie likes to call it. And so whenever they do, which is probably once every few months, to be honest, I do try to snap a photo of it because, rare moments, peeps. You've got to capture those those memories. So next up, I'm doing my trick that I learnt from my beautiful friend Lauren Hender, where I use whiteout tape. You peeps have seen that before. It's such a great technique, especially for a project like this where I've used a lot of busy background papers, and I have possibly done that on purpose because sometimes I struggle with using them for scrapbook pages, and so using them in a project like this I feel is easier because it's much easier to find a small label or put a small brush stroke that you can write over the top of, and you don't have to worry about covering up photos and altering the composition of a layout. So next up, so this is the following weekend, and we went away, and Violet had her first sleepover at her grandma's house, and this is how she eats her food. She likes to eat her food holding something, and so today it was a mirror. Other favourites include dinosaurs and toothbrushes. They seem to be her favourite things to hold while she eats at the moment, which is, you do you, and if it makes her eat, then we're happy for her to have a little something to keep her company in her high chair. So here I use two labels because that's the tricky thing sometimes about taking photos with my iPhone, which is what all of these are. I wrote the wrong thing here as well, so I had to cover it up. And then I'm pretty sure I may have written... Did I write the wrong thing again? I think I did. Yes, I did write the wrong thing again. And so I got all frustrated. I was like, what do I do? How do I cover this up? And then I thought, could I unpeel the tag? No such luck. So then, when in doubt, stick another tag over the top, and I managed to keep that date in there, so I was able to add a little bit more space for journaling. So let's try, third time lucky. Let's see if I can get the content of this one right. So this is a project that I am quite behind on at the moment. But it's the type of project that is much easier to complete, I feel like, if you stay on top of it and if you finish it on the days that you're recording about. It is a bit harder to look back on, which I am struggling with a little bit, especially with the days where there wasn't a major exciting thing to happen. It was just an everyday thing, and I maybe wanted to talk about something she ate, or a new word that she's trying to say, or a new toy that she's been loving. Those days are a bit harder to catch up on. So hopefully I can get caught up on this project so that I can be a bit more up to date. But we'll see how we go. So for this one, I had noticed that the graph paper in this journal, it's El Cheapo graph paper. It's very, very flimsy and thin, and it doesn't particularly enjoy being mixed mediated. And I noticed that when I did that dark blue a few pages back, it curled ridiculously. And even if I had put gesso on it, it still would have done the same thing, just because the mixed media paint was so heavy compared to the weight of the paper. And I decided to cheat a little bit this time and still have that painty feel to this page. But I just used a little painted paper scrap from some jelly plate printing that I did a little while ago. And then to try and balance out the back side of this graph paper, I thought of doing a photo just to give that paper a little bit more strength. I think I'm going to try, if I do this project again, I think I'm going to try and find some sort of thicker graph paper, maybe not out of a specific notebook, but maybe in an individual pad form possibly, just because this stuff is, it's not the most quality paper that I've ever seen. So this was the weekend that we went away, so we took a little photo with our friends, and the kids had an unexpected holiday with us because we went away for 2 nights, and the first night was great. They had a sleepover at Aaron's mum's, and then poor Aaron's mum got food poisoning, and so we had to drive home, pick up the kids, and then bring them back to the holiday house with all of our friends, and they joined in for the fun. Our friends don't have kids yet, so I guess that the positive was that it wasn't too much of a pain for them, because they're having the kids around isn't an everyday tiresome thing like it could be for us. But it was a bit of a shame that we didn't get to enjoy a little break away, because it was our first, I think that was our first like holiday since Archie was born, I think. Yeah, I don't think we've been on one, except for maybe going away for a wedding one night, but not an actual holiday without a specific special event. So then on the Sunday, the day that we were coming home, it was Aaron's birthday. So I grabbed some photos of that, and it was also one of our best mates' birthdays the week after. And so the birthday boys had a little cake, and Violet helped sing happy birthday on Aaron's lap, which was sweet. So I just printed some photos there, and I thought it would be nice to try a square format, so that you can still have a little peek of the floral paper down the right hand side. I was determined to try and use that banner, but it just didn't fit, and who knows if that banner will ever make it in. Oh, you've been seeing it for a while, peeps, and it just... I talked about it in this week's YouTube video, actually, where I just find banners a bit bothersome. They just never look bannery enough. They just always look a bit out of place, the way that I put them on a page. So yeah, definite love-hate relationship there. Ooh, and on YouTube I did ask what people had love-hate relationships with, and I completely forgot chipboard. Someone reminded me in the comments. But yes, chipboard and I have a massive love-hate relationship, and I completely forgot that one. So if that was you, thank you for reminding me. So now adding a tiny bit of journaling. I didn't need to do too much here. Just wanted to talk about the birthday boys, and that one is all done. And then I'm up to the double blank pages, and the double blank pages do stump me a little bit sometimes. I think if I had to choose, I prefer the pages that are already painted in the journal. So if I included a piece of paper that I may have done some jelly plate printing on, the double pages just, I don't know, there's something about them that I think when you're not used to having a double white journal page, because it's not a normal journal, it can be a little bit tricky to switch your mind back to filling it up with something. So here I'm going way out of my comfort zone, but let's do it. Let's jump into a challenge. And I'm using orange, putting orange paint everywhere, and I wanted a slight ombre, so I added some white gesso to the left hand side of the page, and then blended it in with a nice thick paintbrush here, and dried it off camera, of course. And then here, poor little Violet was not feeling too good, so for the next couple of days she was quite sicky, which was not fun, just with a bit of a sniffle. Wasn't COVID. We got COVID tested. We've had so many COVID tests in our family just to be on the safe side. But, of course, with Vi starting daycare, she's opened up to a whole new world of lovely, lovely germs. So she's been picking up a lot of things over the last couple of months. But she's okay now. She's okay at the moment, which is good. Touch wood. Touch all the wood, please. So for this one, I took it in black and white because it was a pretty bad quality photo, I think. It might have been maybe early in the morning, so it was quite dark still. And so I took it in black and white, and then I'm just adding a couple of little stickers here with I'm strong, because it was a bit of a tricky week. All of my work days, of course, went out the window, which is fine, but it does make things a little bit tricky, and it's not nice to see the bubbers sick and struggling. I'm trying to use up all of these crepe paper sticker sheets. This one is an old one. That was probably one of my oldest. It might have been Flea Market, I think. And I'm trying to go through them because quite often, just like this sticker book, I get stuck with the things that I probably don't want to use, like butterflies. And I am trying to use them up so that I can say goodbye to those sticker sheets and possibly say hello to some new ones, because I don't really want to buy too many new products until I've made a dent in some others. I have been working on, I've got quite a few Grab 5 videos coming up over the next couple of months, and in a couple of those I have finished off some sticker sheets, which is exciting. But yeah, they do hang around quite a bit. So here I did the home because we were, of course, staying at home while she wasn't well, and using my Heidi Swap date stamp to document all of the dates, just like I did with Archie's album. I think that'll be a really nice, item of consistency between the two journals. It'll be fun to compare the two when they're done. Not compare, that's the wrong word. It'll be fun to flick through both of them when they're both done, and chunky and stickery and papery. And I really need to carve out one day this week to catch up. I think I've got about, I'm going to be honest, peeps, I've got about a month to catch up on. Oh, fun. But I'll get there. I'll get there eventually. So then this page was a flippy outy one, and I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to add mixed media to it. So I started over here, and I decided to just do a nice simple page because, like I said, Vi was sick, so we weren't taking a lot of photos, and so I didn't need to include one for today. So I'm doing my date stamp, and something that's a bit tricky sometimes with the labels that come on these sticker sheets is their slickness. Sometimes they're a bit too slick and smooth, and I find it difficult to stamp on them. So this November did smudge slightly, but like I always say, man riding by on a horse wouldn't be able to tell, especially when you cover it up with something else, which is what I'm about to do. When in doubt, cover it up, and no one except all the people that watch this video will ever know. And then this one smudged as well, and so I decided to just embrace it and rub it all out with my finger so that you can't see the date, and I'll do the date somewhere else instead. So just writing my journaling for this day, and I am doing the same thing as I did with Archie and coming up with a different nickname for him for every letter. So far I haven't been stumped, but I think I've only done maybe 15 days or so. Wow, I have more than a month maybe I have 2 months to catch up on. Oh boy, that's going to be a lot of catching up. A whole lot. So this is the final page, and I'm going to give you a bit of a flip through of what I've done. So a bit of a range of pages, some of them mixed media-y, some of them with photos, some without. So if you're doing a project like this, I think it's fun to just have no rules for yourself and just treat every new letter as a new day, and you can choose whatever you want to do. If you feel like doing a lot of photos, do it. If you don't print off a single one. Whatever takes your fancy. So this has been really fun to do, and I'll pop those extra photos in there soon. I think I only just took them off. I think Aaron just took them off the camera actually, so I can finally print them. But it was a really, we've gone out of focus. There we go. It's really fun, and I do really love the photos included. And even though I'm still doing Project Life and technically double scrapping a lot of these moments and memories, I think just having a little booklet just for her will be very special. So I'm also going through, these are some of the previous pages. If you missed out on that first video, go have a looky, and I'll have some more of these coming up in the next few days. Oh, this is what I was going, I think I talked about this previously, I think in the previous video, but these are the kids' daycare photos, and aren't they adorable? I'm going to have to work out a way to scan them in and print them off as well, because I definitely want to include them in this little album. Violet was not a happy chappy, but at least she's not crying. All right, peeps, I'll see you very soon. Bye.